So this morning I thought what we would do is going to be a combination of lots of the things we've worked with. So, if you've been coming regularly, you can tap into what you know at this moment in regards to the pelvis. And where's the core of the pelvis, the midpoint between pubic bone and frontal sacrum, or maybe you will remember the different quadrants of the pelvic floor. I'm not going to be super intense about all of them. That's why I'm not getting out my little visual for you. I'm just going to invite you, if this is a place that you've been working and I'm not saying we're letting go of it entirely. It's just today is Monday and we're going to do a range of things. So I might mention it as far as, okay, so you're in the low lunge, for example, on the back leg, you go from the core to the front quadrant out at that diagonal. But I don't want you to be completely distracted. I know that in my own body, I want to, that when I was even doing my practice this morning and I went to the low lunge and I craved it so much, and the low lunge with the knee down, and I couldn't have, you just add that pelvic piece and it really, for me, it just feels so connected and enriching. And so I feel the invitation when I'm there. So I'll mention little things about that. But also I want to open us up here at the chest. So we'll go over that. We'll talk about that. But we're just heading into this week and, into a week of maybe, this week in regards to your Thanksgiving is a different week than you've normally had. Maybe it is different. Maybe it is not, but for some of you, maybe it is. Maybe you're used to spending it a particular way, and this year you're spending it in a different way. And all I can say is, as David White would always say, what is the invitation that is there for you? Well, what does this time of this whole pandemic, which none of us have ever experienced anything like this year, that I can say confidently. And so, but I think we're missing if we aren't really looking inside ourselves to see what is the opportunity, what are the gifts that have presented themselves, and may continue to do so. So yeah, and you are welcome. I would be delighted to hear anytime if you want to send me a little note, or even if after class today, if you want to share, a very short gift that you've realized from this different year we've had. We can do that as well. So let's go ahead and take a comfortable seat. And we know, let's see, we have just a little over a month left before we hit the solstice, before the days will begin to lengthen. So we have this month, a little over a month remaining. No, it's not even over a month. It's less than a month. Because we are going till December 21st. So, oh my gosh, that's hardly any time at all. So, yeah. So what even invites you in when you have the days shortening and a little more darkness? What is the invitation there? All right, so you're taking a comfortable seat. You're welcome to close your eyes. To find the ground beneath you, your connection to the earth, this most amazing earth that we are given this gift to walk upon. And you lengthen your spine up towards the sky. It's there, beyond the clouds, if it's overcast to where you are, above the fog, if you've been living somewhere in that. So all the way up towards the heavens. And then dropping into your ujjayi. You can balance the 1-to-1 ratio. And this is what to remember when waking. In that first, hardly noticed moment in which you wake, coming back to this life from the other more secret, movable, and frighteningly honest world where everything began, there's a small opening into the day that closes the moment you begin your plans. What you can plan is too small for you to live. And what you can live wholeheartedly will make plans enough for the vitality hidden in your sleep. To become human is to become visible while carrying what is hidden as a gift to others. To remember the other world in this world is to live in your true inheritance. You are not a troubled guest on this earth. You are not an accident amidst other accidents. You were invited from another and greater night than the one from which you have just emerged. Now, looking through the slanting light of the morning window toward the mountain presence of everything that can be, what urgency calls you to your one love? What shape waits in the seed of you to grow and spread its branches against a future sky? Is it waiting in the fertile sea, in the trees beyond the house, in the life you can imagine for yourself, in the open and lovely white page on the waiting desk? And at the bottom of your next exhale, release any control on your breath. Join your hands in front of your heart. We'll chant the sound of Om. We'll sing Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Take a deep inhale. Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. With your next exhale, you can bow your head towards your heart. Release your hands and lift your gaze. All right. Oh, and I had a little thought too. I know Ingrid had asked me, about a little bit about Sanskrit, about learning Sanskrit or learning what the words mean. I actually think that Mr. Iyengar's book, Light on Yoga, if you look at his book and you look up different poses, he will also break down the Sanskrit words into what they mean. Pada is foot, or Janu is knee, or he'll go, Ardha is half. He'll give you like, here's the pose, and he'll talk about, and this word means this, and this word means that. And so you do get that, the Sanskrit piece. I mean, obviously you get much more, because the description that Iyengar puts out in his talking about the pose, the benefits of the pose, and seeing him and his body in these poses is quite remarkable anyway. But anyway, Light on Yoga would be one of the many resources if you're interested in the poses or in like the Sanskrit part. That's one idea. All right, well, let's open the backs of the calves. So let's come up to standing. Okay, Diego. We're coming to standing, Diego. Hi, I'm gonna give you a little ride. Ooh. All right, so you're gonna find a wall spot, and you'll go ahead and step your left foot forward, right foot back. Thank you, Diego. Thank you for warming up my mat. Left foot forward, right foot back. Let's have both feet pointing straight towards the wall or the counter or wherever you are. And then you're gonna bend the front knee, walk the hands up the wall. Palms are on the wall. Press into the hands. When you press into your hands, you feel the broadness across the upper back. So can you find that outer shoulder blade reaching to the upper arm bones? You keep that presence, what's happening there, at the same time as you reach back into the full shape of the right heel, the inner corner of the heel, the whole back of the heel, the outer right corner of the heel. I could also find the back right root. I could find that space between tailbone, the right tailbone, inner, the right inner sitting bone, perineum, and I might lengthen diagonally all the way to the core of the pelvis. Okay, let's take the second side. Left foot back. I check, is it pointing straight ahead? Right foot forward. Walk the hands up the wall as you bring your right shin forward. Pressing into the hands. Broadening across your upper back. And dropping into your Ujjayi again. That balanced Ujjayi. And just remembering that at the back of the diaphragm, you want the back of the diaphragm to be broad. So you might just check in. Is the back of the diaphragm broad? And do you feel that opening under the arms as you reach up there? All right, great. And then you can step back, trip over that. Let's take half Uttanasana at the wall. And then we're gonna step toward the wall. All right, let's take right arm up at 2. Let's open the pecs a little. Let's turn to your left. So again, how far am I from the wall on the right side of my body? I want, as my right hand and arm are back, I want my right shoulder, the joint of the right shoulder to also be nestled in the joint and back. I don't know why that thing is super blurry right now. See if I can focus on my hand or something. So, can you remember pec major all along that right side of your breastbone? And if you put your felt sense into the upper third of pec major, the upper third, can you roll that upper third of pec major up towards the collarbone? Broaden the middle third out towards the side, out towards the arm bone itself. All right, and then we'll take the second side. So left foot forward, right foot back. The arm is back there at like 10 o'clock. I'm making sure that my left arm is not trying to reach up towards my left ear, that the left arm bone is back and down. You might, Ellie, you might take your left arm higher. Take it up a little higher. Yeah, like that. See what that's like to have it up at that kind of a diagonal. I might have Katie take her arm a little higher too. Walk it up the wall a little more, so it's at more like that kind of 10 o'clock. And then Ellie, you could have your feet hip distance, so it looks like your left foot is in front of your right. Maybe I'm delirious. That could be that I just don't see the back foot. But when you step back, just keep the pelvis pointing straight ahead and take your right leg back. Again, sorry. Yeah. Okay. It's probably the camera distortion. All right. Deep breathing. Great. Did you find the upper fibers of pec major, and did you lift them up towards the collarbone? Were you able to broaden the middle fibers out towards the upper arm bone? Great. And then we'll release that. And then one more with the wall. Let's take Purvottanasana. So if you take, I don't know, my camera's having a hard time focusing, but you're going to take the hands back. You're away from the wall. Palms are finding the wall. Pressing firmly into the wall. So you feel, the arms are straight, the triceps are activated. And then So the arms are internally rotated in this Purvottanasana, but you can still go into the upper fibers of pec major, and can you roll them towards the collarbone? I find this to be a lot more challenging. Rolling those upper fibers, whoa. And I also notice one side is more difficult for me. So there's a little twist in the collarbone here. You're gonna let the outer collarbone roll down and the inner collarbone roll up. And then release. Oh my gosh, that's hard. Okay, and then we're gonna come to your yoga mat. You can get your blocks. And we're gonna set up with side angle pose. Let's go to your left first. So your left foot turns out, the back foot turns in slightly. We've got a block or two at the outer left shin. And then when you're ready, let's inhale, take the arms out. And then we'll exhale to side angle. So as you lengthen on the left inner thigh towards the inner knee and lift on that heavenly side from top of the pelvis to the outer heel, top of the pelvis along the ribs. And then we'll inhale, come up. Second side. Right foot forward. Left foot back. When you're ready, inhale, take the arms out wide. And with your exhale, come to your side angle. Yeah. Great. So the right inner thigh is long. You might have, I think you might explore a little longer stance, Jackie, just to take a little longer stance. Yeah, there's it going. Woo. Nice. Great. Great, Ellie. Michael, beautiful line across the body. Such a lovely, that heavenly side of the body. And when you take your top arm and you've got that shoulder blade wrapping forward around the rib cage, and then start to lengthen, draw all the way from the outer right shoulder blade towards the upper arm, and can that hug all the way close to your cheek? That's it. That's it. And you might, Katie, what about, can the tricep and the elbow, can you straighten the elbow? Yep. Good, Pat. That's it, everybody. Wonderful. Wowie zowie. Inhale, come on up. Excellent. Let's take a wide-legged stance. We'll make the feet parallel, bring the blocks out in front of you. Such a remarkable pose, that side angle Parsvakonasana, because it just gets at this place that we just don't often lengthen. So we'll take hands upon the hips. And so let's drop your felt sense again up into the pectorals, the upper pecs. So as you lift that upper third toward the collarbone, The upper third of pec major. Lift it up towards your collarbones. And exhale, start to bow forward. Hands are going to come down to your blocks. Let's have the wrists under your shoulders. Wrists are under your shoulders. Let's take this into a twist. So if your hands are on blocks, you'll bring the right hand block into the space between your two hands. Place the right hand or right fingertips on it. Left hand up on the hip. All right, lengthen all the way through the crown of the skull. So we want the spine to be long on both sides. And then with your next exhale, turn the rib cage toward the left, from reaching from that outer left scapula all the way into the hand that's on the earth. Now, sometimes we have a tendency to side bend here. We decide that twisting involves kind of bringing the right side of my spine left side of my spine closer to my left leg for you, but no, make sure you're not side bending, that the spine is coming straight out towards the crown of the skull. All righty, let's exhale to center. Let's switch hands on the block or the floor. Right hand up on the hip, reaching into the ground, rotating. And then we'll exhale, come back to center. Hands can either be on blocks or on the floor, whatever you need in order to have your legs straight. You're going to slide the hands forward for downward dog arms. Drop into your ujjayi. Reaching into the hands, reaching back, balancing the weight between the ball of the foot and the heel of the foot. It's taking that moment, a moment of, even in this small moment of this forward fold, you might have a moment where you realize a gift that you have noticed over this time, these 8 months. Still ujjayi breathing. All right, and then let's walk the hands back. Let's shift them up to your hips. Roll the top of pec major, roll it up. Lift the collarbones up as you come back up to standing. Step the feet together, grab your blocks, bring them to the top of your mat. Hands in Anjali Mudra. And inhale, lift your arms. Exhale, hands back in front of your heart. Again, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Your inhale halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, step your right foot back to a lunge. So with hands on the blocks, at any height, you could drop your felt sense into that midpoint, into the center of the pelvis, the midpoint just above your pubic bone and the front of your sacrum. The midpoint, where is it? And can you reach it all the way into the right front root, which is perineum, the inner right pubic bone, and inner right sitting bone. And then come to fingertips. Drop your felt sense into the inner right sitting bone. Travel over to the inner right tailbone. Where's the perineum? And from that quadrant, can you reach back up in towards the core of the pelvis? And then let's come upright. Can you do both of those at the same time? The core reached outward to the right front root. And from the back right root, it reached inward. And then you inhale the arms out. Stay with your practice though. Don't give it up. Exhale, slowly begin to bow. Still keeping this reach. Hands touch down. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, left foot back. Can you drop your felt sense to the center of the pelvis? And can you reach from the center of the pelvis outward to the left front root? This is bordered by your inner left pubic bone, inner left sitting bone, and perineum, that quadrant. The core to there, because when you do, it helps take the left leg behind you, away from your pelvis. And then can you drop into the back root, which is inner tailbone, inner left sitting bone, perineum. And from there, you reach more inward, back up to the core. That's a great place to unweight the hands and rise. Inhale the arms wide. Stay with it as you bow. Sometimes we give up on that back leg. Stay with it. Great. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold forward again. All right, we're going to inhale halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend both knees. I can reach from that core of the pelvis into the back root. I can have blocks tall. Inhale, lift both arms. Here's chair. This is a powerful pose. Utkatasana, very powerful. Inhale, straighten both legs. And exhale, hands in front of your heart. All right. Let's take an upper back opener, and then we'll move into a sun salutation. But let's open the upper back first, and let's do it through a version of Stump Pose. So if you come down to your knees, and you bring, I like doing the version where we bring both blocks end to end. There's many different versions of opening the upper back. This is just one. And if you take one of your blankets to pad your blocks, so you've got that blanket folded half lengthwise. Put that over the top of the blocks. It's nice to have either a pillow or, a second blanket that just kind of acts as the off-ramp for the neck. It just kind of gives a little support for the back of the head. It could be a blanket or a pillow. I don't want it to stop the back of the head, but something to help lengthen through the supporting the cervicals there. All right. So on this one, we'll start seated in front of our little stack. We're going to come back, take the shoulder blades on the stack. There they are. Hands behind the head, elbows toward each other. With your next exhale, you start to take, the upper back over the blocks. I still have my hands behind my head. I'm holding my head. And then let's press into the feet and lift the pelvis slightly. Pick the pelvis part way up. And then with the lift of the pelvis, we should be able to take the head back further. Now, once again, if your blanket feels like it gets in your way or whatever back there, then you can change it. Or maybe it's just right and you feel okay letting go of your head. If that's the case, you'll reach the arms overhead. Palms can face the sky. Deep breath in. And with the exhale, can you bring your felt sense to that upper third of pec major? And roll that upper third toward the collarbones. And let's take the middle third away from the upper third. So the very upper few inches of pec major, we're rolling towards the collarbones. The next few inches of pec major, we're rolling down towards the bottom part of the breastbone. Now, when I do that, for me, I notice I actually wanted to bring my pelvis closer to the ground. I'm not saying it has to be on the ground, but in order to open that space in between those two, I felt my pelvis become closer to the floor. My pelvis is actually hovering a little above the ground, but we all have different length torso, so I can only speak from my own experience. And then let's take the hands, if they're reaching overhead, put them behind the head, lift the chin back up to the chest. We'll lower the pelvis to the floor. You can straighten one leg or both legs. Use your abdominals to bring yourself back up to sitting. Then we'll roll back towards our little stack. Let's take one of those blankets and put it on your mat. And I'm going to take my other blanket, move it out of the way. There's my blocks. And then let's step left foot forward, right knee back. So the back knee is on my blanket. My left knee is going forward of my left heel. So here, as you soften the middle of the right thigh, the right quads, you lengthen them towards the lower right quad, towards the right knee. Let's walk the blocks back towards you a little more. You could find the center of the pelvis, the midpoint between pubic bone and front of the sacrum, and from there reach that outward diagonal toward the right front root, we said, which was bordered by pubic bone, inner right sitting bone, and perineum. I keep a little tone in the belly between the inner right hip joint, between the pubic bone and the inner right hip joint. A little tone. All right, let's switch sides. Right foot forward. I might scoop my blocks back forward as I let my right knee go forward of my right ankle. Right knee forward of the right ankle. All right, and then as I reach, as I find the center of the pelvis again, and I reach from that midpoint to the left front root of the pelvic floor, the inner left pubic bone, the inner left sitting bone, the perineum, from the core out. Might walk my blocks back. And I could even drop into the back left root. Perineum. Where's the left sitting bone? The inside of it. Where's the tailbone? What happens when you lengthen that up towards the center of the pelvis? All righty, let's let that go. And let's take downward facing dog. Or maybe you're taking puppy pose. So once again, just like when you were at the beginning of class and you had your hands on the wall and you broadened across the upper back, you reached the outer shoulder blades all the way into the hands, went to the upper arm bone, the meaty part of the elbow, into the index finger knuckle. And then you could also go to the core of your pelvis right now. Reach it to the back roots. You could roll the upper pectorals down towards the middle. All right, can we inhale slowly to plank? Staying steady on the midline. Let's exhale slowly back. Steady on the midline of the pose to downward facing dog. We're going forward again. So as you slowly go forward, can you feel how the lower abdominals tone? The middle. So you feel you have to lift the abdominal organs up to meet the front of the rib cage, front of the spine, and slowly back. One more time. If your blanket's there, you can move it out of the way. We're going to inhale, come forward to plank again. And as you bend both knees and hover the knees just a little bit above the floor, then the knees lightly touch. With your next exhale, bend the elbows and bring your chest down. Inhale to a cobra pose. Rolling that upper pectoral up towards the collarbones. And the middle rolls up. Exhale, lower. Inhale to all fours. Exhale, downward facing dog or child's pose. If you're in child's pose, come to all fours. If you're in downward dog, lift the right leg. Exhale, all of us, right foot forward. So you can grab your blocks, bring them back in. Inhale, upright lunge. Inhale the arms out. Exhale, bow. If you're going to all fours, you drop the back knee. Otherwise, you step the right foot back. You go back to downward dog. If you're in downward dog, you take the left leg up. Left foot forward. If you're on all fours, left foot forward. But you remember all the things. As you come upright again. One of the things in working through these poses for me is just feeling the integration in my body, and the arms wide here, and that slow descent, the strength that I have to connect myself together. Inhale, step forward, and exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway, and exhale, Uttanasana. Because I look for this strength, this integration, this connection. And how it can help carry me through the other parts of my life. One more time, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, coming all the way up. And exhale, hands back, Anjali Mudra. This feeling as you come with the hands in front of your heart here, and you feel can you take a moment to find the gratitude for being able to come to your practice, for the many, many ways your body offers you this support to fully embody your body. If you embody your body, if you connect into your inner body, can we realize the connection we have to the earth and to everybody else? We are all connected together. Release your arms. And let's turn to set up for a triangle pose. And we'll go to your left. So you might want to take one of your blocks or two of your blocks to the left outer shin. And then when you're ready, inhale, arms out. So feel this right now. You've got both legs straight. You've got both arms reaching. Can you feel the power simply in that? This is amazing. With your exhale, you might take the hand on the hip. You start to take the pelvis. You point it towards the back leg. Every movement. Am I long through my front inner thigh? Do I feel the weight balance there? The real magic. It's magical and it's beautiful. We might take right arm, reach it up. And then let's inhale, come up. And let's switch to the other side. So there goes the right foot out. Any height. It doesn't matter how far I go into a pose. It's more about how integrated and connected am I through my whole body. I will never look like Mr. Iyengar looks in Light on Yoga. It's incredible. But I feel so fortunate to have the opportunity to practice at all. Let's inhale the arms out. And exhale, second side. Triangle, Utthita Trikonasana. My spine is long. The weight is balanced in the front hip. Did you feel that integration in the front leg? All the way from the outer hip to the core of the pelvis. It may not be your favorite pose. How do you make it a pose that you actually enjoy more? You know, like sometimes adding more support makes the pose just so much more pleasure. And then when you're ready, you can inhale and come back up. All right, great. And then let's step the feet back together. Okay, so let's come down to the ground. Let's come down to the ground. this is kind of I'm kind of having a moment of like, oh, because here I am talking about all these things, but I want to take Ardha Subdivirasana. So, and I know that for some of you, this can be really challenging. So I just really, invite you to give yourself plenty of support, right? So like Michael's he'll probably use the Swiss ball for support. Some of you are gonna want 2 blocks end to end with a bolster on top of those 2 blocks. A bolster's great because it's thick. If you don't have a bolster, then you're gonna take a blanket and then probably another blanket. If you have a bolster, you got the bolster up there. And then it's good to have a pillow to raise the head up. Okay, so when I take half Subdivirasana, I'm gonna sit in front of my stack. So if right now, so my left leg's gonna be in Virasana, and I'm gonna come down here. Now, if sitting in Virasana, if that isn't good for you, then you could take the left leg straight and just have the pelvis on another blanket. Otherwise, left leg's in Virasana, right foot's on the ground. And I'm gonna come back. I want this knee to be connected to the earth. I don't want the top of the shin to be lifting. You've got to make your height high enough. Do I feel this? I do. Really felt something different because of the cross-country skiing I did on Saturday. It just used my quads in a way that I hadn't been using them. So I feel the tightness. Can you keep the pelvis lifted? You're going to lift the pelvis up. Give yourself plenty of height. If you want to, Michael does a great demo with his Swiss ball right there if you need more height. And again, if the left leg can't do Virasana, then the left leg is straight. But you go ahead and come over your support. And if you need something under the pelvis with the left leg straight, then you can give yourself that, because you'll still get the opening at the front of the left hip joint. So right foot is on the ground, left leg is either in Virasana or straight out if the knee is not happy. That looks great, Jackie. Excellent. Looks beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love the length coming across the front of that hip joint, all the way from the core of the pelvis to that left front root. So let's take the second side. So again, if you're going to now put your left foot on the floor, and the right leg will either go in Virasana or straight. If the right leg's straight, you'll often need to put just a little height under the pelvis. Whatever you do, if your right leg is in Virasana, make sure you've given yourself enough height so that the right shin feels the ground. And then we're opening up the front of the right hip. So there's a lifting up of of the pelvis. Maybe and you can just experiment, Katie, whether you need more height. If you need more height, get yourself some more height. Yeah. It'll be well worth it. Well worth it. Mm-hmm. Do you have your blankets on top of blocks, Katie, too? Okay. It's all right. This is great. I like that you give your head more support. That's really good. Okay. You can come out of that. Let's and take both legs straight. And then let's take, we're gonna undo our little stack there, move the blocks out of the way. We're gonna take Ardha Matsyendrasana 2. So we'll take a twist. Let's have a strap. Oh my gosh, come on. And the strap, okay. So we might be seated up on one of your blankets. Give yourself a little height. And then let's take left leg straight, bend the right, bring the right inner foot to the left inner knee. If there's space between this outer knee and the ground, then I'm going to shore that space up with another blanket. If I sit in lotus pose, I don't sit in lotus pose, but if you do, you would bring your right foot all the way up to lotus. And then this comes down towards the ground. If you don't sit in lotus, you bring the right inner foot to the left inner knee. All right, we're going to take the loop in the strap, put it around the straight leg. Let's take tail to the outer right hip. Left hand behind to grab on. Your right arm reaches forward to grab your strap and twisting towards the straight leg. So you might notice on the bent knee side, if you go to the space at the inner right sitting bone, the inner right tailbone, and the perineum. So can you place your felt sense in that area? Inner right tailbone, sit bone, perineum, and reach towards the core of your pelvis. And then we're going to exhale back to center. We'll take the loop off, second side. Strap around the foot. Tail goes to the bent knee, outer hip. Right arm or the straight leg arm reaches all the way back behind. Grabs on, other hand forward. You're twisting towards the straight leg. And once again, you're welcome to explore by going into where's the perineum, where's the inner left tailbone, where's your inner left sitting bone, what happens when you lengthen that on the diagonal towards the center of the pelvis, towards that midpoint between pubic bone and sacrum. All right, and then let's come back to center. Yeah. We'll take that off. Both legs go straight. Give the knees a little bit. All right, can we set up for a little supported, let's do a supported reclined shoulder stand. So you'll take one blanket folded in half lengthwise, a second blanket folded in half lengthwise. They're end to end. If you have two more blankets, same thing. If you only have two blankets, then you've just got those two. Otherwise, you've got this whole stack. This one blanket's a little wider, so you have a hard time seeing that it's on top of that one. Okay. And then I could take a bolster or a block. This bolster or block is going to go underneath. If it's a block, it goes underneath. If it's a bolster, it probably doesn't have to. You can just have the bolster at the end to go under my head. I could even tie my, I could use my strap to tie my legs together, but this is okay. I'm going to lengthen out the ball of my feet and releasing at, the chin is coming a little more towards the chest or throat. The eyes are, I have my eyes closed, but turning inward. So even as I'm here, I do stay active through my legs, lengthening out the ball of my foot. And as if my eyes could see through my cheekbones. All right, and then bend my knees, roll to one side, use the arms, press myself up, and I'm going to take this to Shavasana. So whatever shape, you could either just turn the blankets to go under the knees, or you could make one of the little patios for the legs. Maybe you want to cover yourself up. Gratitude is not something that is shown after the event. It is a deep state of attention that shows we understand and are equal to the gifted nature of life. Gratitude is the understanding that many millions of things come together and live together and mesh together and breathe together in order for us to take even one more breath of air. That the underlying gift of life, an incarnation as a living, participating human being, is privileged. That we are part of something rather than nothing. Taking that next deep breath of air and beginning to awaken your body to movement. Making a mindful transition over to one side. And using the support of your hands to press yourself back to sitting. And then honoring the gift of your presence. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.